China, Liao Province, and Liancheng. Standing in front of Xingxing's gate, Chen Yan's face was, life without love. 2 generations of people, Chen Yan and a blind date, have forged a good relationship. Forget about the last life, anyway, it's already a cloud of the past. But in this life, Chen Yan just graduated and started working, and was forced to go on a blind date again. And, it's the 100th time. After 100 blind dates, Chen Yan really admired his mother's connections. But when he thought of the activation conditions of the system, Chen Yan endured it. That's right, Chen Yan is a traveler. In the previous life, Chen Yan dreamed of becoming a police officer, but due to physical reasons, his dream did not come true. Later, he became a detective and participated in the detection of many major cases. As a result, he lost his life in the Revenge of Du at the age of 29. With regret for not being a real police officer, Chen Yan closed his eyes. As a result, as soon as he opened his eyes, he passed through and become a trainee police officer. The long-cherished wish that had not been fulfilled for many years turned out to be a dream come true after crossing the road. Chen Yan felt that God treated him well. In particular, the world after transmigration is not much different from Chen Yan's original world. At least, it seems that there is no difference now. My parents are still my parents, and my friends are still my friends. It's just that some once familiar place names have changed. At the same time, Chen Yan, who passed through, also carried a system. The strongest police training system. But the activation system requires conditions. 100 blind dates. Chen Yan doesn't know why there is a relationship between becoming a police officer and a blind date, but the rules are the rules, and Chen Yan can only do it. Fortunately, Chen Yan has a good mother who wants to hug her grandson as soon as possible. In less than a month, she has arranged 99 blind dates for Chen Yan. True mother. Today is the 100th game. It is also the last blind date to activate the strongest police development system. Enter Xingxing. At the door is a man and a woman, introducing each other. Looking further in, there are 15 tables, 8 of them are sitting pairs of men and women. Don't ask Chen Yan why there are 15 tables just by looking at it. Anyone who has 99 blind dates in a place knows that place like the back of their hands. Hello, Mr. Chen, table number 6 has been reserved for you. The waiter has long known Chen Yan. For the 100th blind date, Chen Yan has already broken the record for the highest number of blind dates in this company. Chen Yan nodded, thank you, old rules. The waiter knows that the old rule is a cup of mocha. Table number 6, near the floor-to-ceiling windows, in the corner, is relatively quiet and is Chen Yan's favorite place. 6:30. Is that Mr. Chen Yan? Chen Yan, who was drinking coffee, was interrupted by a slightly sweet voice. Hien Tian is tall, 10 centimeters. Black piku, thief bright. Lace-trimmed black gauze. Wearing a white down jacket. Holding the latest love-crazy phone in one hand and a purple donkey handbag in the other. Long chestnut hair, slightly thick makeup. Net height is about 1.6 meters, Lu Ye has curved eyebrows and all face. Chen Yan, who had seen each other's photos, recognized the beauty in front of him. Hello, I'm Chen Yan. Chen Yan got up and smiled politely, you are Miss Song Ziai, please sit down, what would you like to drink? Song Ziai looked at Chen Yan who stood up in surprise. A gleam of light flashed in his eyes. She had seen Chen Yan's photos, and she had long known that Chen Yan was handsome. But only after we met face to face did I realize that this man is not only handsome, but also a little greedy. About 1.83 meters tall, with fair complexion, sword eyebrows and star eyes, long waist and wide back. Song Ziai took the initiative to stretch out his hand, vanilla coffee, thank you. After speaking, he sat opposite Chen Yan. Chen Yan gently shook the beauty's little hand, Miss Song, wait a moment, waiter, prepare a cup of vanilla coffee. After saying hello to the passing waiter, Chen Yan also sat down. Mr. Chen, since it's a blind date, let's get straight to the point. What do you think? Song Ziyi put the phone and donkey bag on the table and looked directly at Chen Yan. This trick. Chen Yan was used to it. Hundreds of blind dates, never seen anything. Song Ziyi is quite normal. Seeing Chen Yan nodding, Song Ziyi continued, what do you do? Your job is stable and unstable. How much is your monthly salary? Do you have a house? If any, how big is it? Do you have a car? What kind of car? Chen Yan nodded again. This is a standard blind date question, and the answer is also a standard answer. I just started working, I am a policeman, because it should be a relatively stable job. The salary is 4,800 per month, the house was bought by the family the year before last, 89 square meters, car not yet. Police. Song Ziyi was slightly taken aback, your salary is only 5,000. Chen Yan nodded helplessly, the police work is really not high, but we still have a year-end bonus, about 10,000 yuan. Chen Yan is still an intern police officer. He has just joined the job for a month. He only heard that there is a year-end bonus, but he has never won the exact amount, but he should have it at 10,000 yuan. Song Ziyi frowned slightly, your salary is too low, and the house is too small. To be honest, if you weren't handsome, our blind date would have ended here. Chen Yan was stunned. He knew that many people were jealous of his body after 100 blind dates, but Song Ziyi was the first to say it directly. Well, write my name in the house, ask your family to buy another 500,000 car, and let's get in touch. After a long while, Song Ziyi seemed to have made a decision. Looking at Chen Yan, he continued. However, Chen Yan was a little hesitant and a little confused. Why do you write your name in the room book? And 500,000 to buy a car? He, why, you are still hesitating with my low conditions. Seeing Chen Yan's reaction, Song Ziyi suddenly sneered, handsome guy, although I have a good first impression of you, but your financial strength is too poor, you are still hesitant to write my name in your house, the monthly salary of 5,000, is not enough for me to buy cosmetics. Chen Yan was a little hurt. This Song Ziyi, is a little too true. Ding! The ringtone suddenly remembered on the table relieved Chen Yan's embarrassment. Miss Song, the coffee is ready, I'll go get it first. Just as the phone on the table vibrated slightly, Song Ziyi nodded indifferently and picked up the phone. 2 minutes later, Chen Yan walked back with coffee. At this moment, Song Ziyi was typing text on the phone. Perhaps after hearing Chen Yan's footsteps, Song Ziyi pressed the power button on the phone, and the screen went dark. But this scene has long been seen by Chen Yan. Although the distance is relatively far, the text on the mobile phone is very small, and the text content cannot be seen at all under normal circumstances. But Chen Yan was different. Whether this guy is in this life or the last, he has a strange disease. Hyperamnesia. In fact, the so-called hyperamnesia is a bit similar to remembering the past, but it can freeze everything that you see in front of you, just like taking a photo. Then you can pull the photo in and take a closer look at every detail. This is also one of the reasons why Chen Yan was able to become a super detective in his previous life. Therefore, Chen Yan could see clearly what Song Ziyi had just typed on his phone. Room 3008 of Tianhai Hotel, arrange technician number 88, 3888 has been received. Room 908 of Kunlun Road Quanji Express Hotel, arrange technician number 12, 2888 has been received. This beauty, no. This lady in leather pants seems to have quite a story. Holding up the coffee that Chen Yan handed over, the woman in leather pants took a sip. Mr. Chen, I just thought about it carefully, I'm afraid we are not suitable. Chen Yan nodded unconsciously. If his guess is true, the two are indeed inappropriate. The woman in leather pants raised her head arrogantly, leaning against the sofa with a beautiful figure. Quite tempting, Mr. Chen, my monthly income is hundreds of thousands or even hundreds of thousands, which is 10 times or even dozens of your salary. Times. It's not about money to ask you to add my name to the house book. As for buying a car, to put it bluntly, it's just my salary for a month. But you are so hesitant about such a simple thing. You are too stingy. Said to take the mobile phone and the donkey bag, the lady in leather pants looked arrogant. Haha, I have nothing else to do, I'll go first. Hehe, the end of this blind date has been pronounced. However, just as he got up, he was blocked by Chen Yan. Beauty, I'm not stingy, but if you want to leave, it doesn't seem to work. What? The police also want to stalk them? Or do they want me to pay the bill? Hehe, waiter, pay the bill. In addition to arrogance, there was contempt in the eyes of the woman in leather pants. The police, hehe. Stalking? Pay? It's possible to stalk you, you don't have to pay the bill. Chen Yan took out a pair of silver bracelets expressionlessly. Please stand up and put your head in your hands, you are under arrest. GA? The voice here has attracted the attention of others in the cafe. A good blind date, how did it turn into an arrest? The face of the woman in leather pants changed greatly, her right hand trembled and pointed at Chen Yan and screamed, you can arrest people as you like. Come on. Help. The police can't afford blind dates, arrest people. Chen Yan sneered and grabbed the leather pants woman's donkey bag and mobile phone. It's no use roaring your throat. Didn't you say that your monthly income is hundreds of thousands, hundreds of thousands? Chen Yan quickly grabbed the woman's right hand and pressed his thumb on the screen. The phone lights up. The amount of recruiting Piao online is very huge, more than 3 years but less than 5 years, Miss Song. I think you should think about how to spend the best time of your life there. Song Zi's face was pale and bloodless when his phone was stolen. With his teeth and claws, he rushed towards Chen Yan. Give me back the phone. Back to you? Chen Yan snorted coldly, pressed his hand sideways and pressed the woman in leather pants onto the table. With the other hand, he took out his certificate and walked around in a circle. The police are handling the case, everyone, don't watch. Hey! Master, I caught an online recruiter in Xingxing, King Yun Road. The person has already stopped it. Chen Yan called his master's phone, room 3008 of Tianhai Hotel, room 908 of Quanji Express Hotel Kunlun Road, the two places are trading. Ah! The woman in leather pants struggled violently in Chen Yan's hands. You bastard! You slander me! Let me go! Song Zi was completely stunned at the moment, she was just here for a blind date. How did you get caught? At this moment, Song Zi's eyes were full of tears, and his eyes were full of terror. He was no longer arrogant. You! Soon, Song Zi burst into tears. Chen Yan, I'm your blind date, how can you arrest me? I'm rubbing it. This guy is a bit fierce. He caught the blind date. This policeman is a bit cruel. He arrested the blind date during the blind date. Blind date is risky, choose people carefully. The surrounding crowd did not disperse. Arrest the blind date during a blind date. Such a big melon, don't eat it for nothing. Many people have already started recording videos and taking photos and uploading them to the internet. Xingxing is shocked to see a blind date maniac. On the day of the blind date, the person was arrested, can you believe it? Chen Yan was dumbfounded. Who wants to catch a blind date? Isn't this catch up? Chen Yan actually didn't care about the crowd. But how do you explain it to your mother when you get home? Son, how was the blind date today? Mom, I sent the blind date to the detention center. Chen Yan only needs to imagine this picture to know what he will face. Xiao Chen. After 10 minutes, Lu Qingshan and a young policeman came over. didn't you have a blind date today? Why did you arrest the master? Chen Yan smiled bitterly, Master, Brother Wang, don't mention it. He handed the mobile phone in his hand to Lu Qingshan. Here is the evidence of online recruiting, including chat records and transfer records. I took a look at it, and the amount involved is at least tens of millions. Tens of millions? It was definitely a major gang committing a crime. Lu Qingshan and the young policeman looked at each other and both understood what this amount meant. Xiao Chen, you are so good, you can catch such a big fish on a blind date. The young policeman gave Chen Yan a thumbs up. By the way, where is your blind date? Go ahead and leave the rest to me and master. Lu Qingshan also patted Chen Yan's shoulder. Don't worry, you are the first to go, you go on a blind date first, and Xiao Wang and I will handle the rest. Chen Yan smiled bitterly. It's a fart kiss. Master, there's no need for a blind date, you and I will go back to the team directly. What's the answer? Lu Qingshan glared. Why, are you afraid that your senior brother and I will take credit for you? The young policeman smiled and said, that's right, hurry up on a blind date, kid. With this credit, you don't have to wait for a year to become a regular. Chen Yan sighed and said nothing. 2 police officers, you don't need to persuade them. The waiter who knew Chen Yan couldn't help but interjected at this moment, this police officer will definitely not be able to continue the blind date. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Why? This one he caught is his blind date. Lu Qingshan. Young policeman. Xiao Chen. Lu Qingshan turned his head with difficulty. What did he say, really? The young policeman now looks at Chen Yan and is not looking at his younger brother. There is worship there. Blind date, the blind date was arrested, you are considered the only one in the world, right? One word, reckless. Ring, ring, ring. Lu Qingshan's phone ringing saved Chen Yan. Let's go, people from Tianhai Hotel and Quanji Express Hotel have been caught. Putting down the phone, Lu Qingshan motioned for the young police to take the girl in leather pants away. To avoid Chen Yan being embarrassed. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the 100th blind date, the strongest police development system is activated. Ding! Congratulations to the host for catching one of the main criminals of the online recruiting Piao criminal gang, and rewarded for unlocking the olfactory gene lock. However, at this moment, Chen Yan can't be embarrassed. Chen Yan was overjoyed by the 2 crisp prompts that sounded in his mind. After 100 blind dates, the strongest police training system was finally activated. Turn on the olfactory gene lock. Chen Yan only felt a numbness in his body and a slight itching in his nose, but after a few breaths, the whole world changed. In scene KNEI, the dozens of different types of coffee aromas that were originally mixed together are now all separated. Not only that, Chen Yan only felt that within 100 meters of his body, all the smells were in order. It seems to be frozen in the air, anyone can be judged by Chen Yan. As a detective in the last life, Chen Yan knew too much the importance of taste in solving cases. In any crime scene, the extraction of flavor is extremely important. Sometimes, it can even become the most critical factor in cracking a case. That's what police dogs do. Chen Yan at this moment is equivalent to a talking super police dog. The system gave Chen Yan such a reward as soon as the system was turned on. It really was the father of the system. Really the strongest police training system. When they returned to the detective team, the traders from the 2 hotels were also brought over. The police system in this world is different from Chen Yan's original world. There is no difference between police officers and police officers. There are only internal and external divisions. Back office, handling all the chores of people's livelihood. Field office, handling all police cases. Chen Yan's unit is the 2nd Detective Squad of the Liancheng Detective Brigade. Responsible for handling all economic, criminal, network and public security crime cases in the region. From the small to stealing the chicken and the dog, to the big murderer, they are all in charge here. All cases like recruiting Piao online are naturally handled by the detective team. The case is actually relatively simple. Song Zi's mobile phone is a criminal file. The personnel, time, location, amount, everything is clear, more detailed than the case analysis that Chen Yan and the others did. In just one night, all the criminals were brought to justice. There are only 4 main culprits, and the others are young ladies who work part-time to make money. The case is not complicated, but it is extremely secretive and involves a huge amount of money. The young ladies involved in the case are all part-timers. They really have everything from nurses, flight attendants, schoolgirls, and young women. Xiao Chen, this time you have made a contribution. Lu Qingshan, who had been busy all night, patted Chen Yan's shoulder. The amount involved is 30 million yuan, which is a rare major case in the province. Chen Yan was actually a little confused when he knew the exact amount. The amount involved in this case can exceed 30 million yuan, which is really rare. The rewards in the team will come down soon. In addition to the bonuses, your kid will be able to become a regular this week. Although it was a busy night, no one in the team, including Lu Qingshan and Chen Yan, was tired. One thing in this world that surprised Chen Yan was that the incentive system was relatively sound. Although the treatment of the police is not high, if they solve a major case, the reward is considerable. Especially if the amount involved is relatively large, there is a bonus. Although not a lot, according to the amount of 30 million yuan, each person in the team is estimated to get 5,000 yuan. Of course, Chen Yan, who won the first gong, will definitely get more. For one night of overtime, the reward is 5,000 yuan. For a policeman whose monthly salary is less than 5,000 yuan, it is a great value. After all, you have to do it without a reward. Thank you, Master. Chen Yan was very happy, although the credit this time was a bit strange. However, Chen Yan was still happy to be able to change his position ahead of schedule. Like Chen Yan's previous life, the police force in China is not easy to advance. During the internship, you have to go through various inspections and exams, and it is possible to pass all of them. The reason why it is said to be possible is due to the limitation of the number of employees. In the same batch of 10 interns, all of them performed well and passed the assessment, but there are only 8 in the staff, so 2 are destined to be eliminated. And now, Chen Yan obviously doesn't have to go through this. Lu Qingshan was also happy for Chen Yan. After all, it is his own apprentice. In the detective team, mentoring is the most common training method. This is tradition. However, some learn slowly and some learn quickly. Some people have been in the team for half a year and have never seen the scene. Some people can go out to exercise with master the next day. This is how the master leads the door, and the practice depends on the individual. Chen Yan obviously belongs to the latter. Handing Lao Lu a cigarette, Chen Yan smiled, "Master, you go to bed, I'll be watching here." Taking the cigarette that Chen Yan handed over, Lu Qingshan put it under his nose and sniffed it. He knew it was Huazi without looking at the trademark. Chen Yan does not smoke, but always prepares for Lu Qingshan. This is why Chen Yan was able to follow Lu Qingshan to the scene the next day. A nimble apprentice, everyone likes it. What's more, if the policeman's mind is not flexible, how can he solve the case? Sleep for what purpose? Lu Qingshan put the cigarette in his mouth. Chao Yang is staring at the disappearance case, and he has no clue. I have to go and see. Snapped. Chen Yan hurriedly turned on the lighter, lit a cigarette for Lu Qingshan, and frowned slightly. The disappearance case on Qipping Road. Lu Qingshan nodded, it's not that case. Rubbing his temples, Lu Qingshan pointed to the office. Xiao Chen, go and bring the file with me, and come take a look with me. Go together? Chen Yan's eyes lit up slightly. In cases of missing persons, it is generally impossible for interns to participate. Although Lao Lu was kind to himself, the scene he took him to before was at most the scene of the theft. It is impossible to bring yourself to participate in such a case that may be related to human life. Taking myself now, it should be because I have made a contribution this time, and I will be able to turn positive in advance. Okay, Master, wait a moment. Chen Yan participated in the detection of many major and important cases in his previous life, including a disappearance case, which is trivial. A file is the most fundamental material for understanding a case. Any police can only write a file according to one standard. Seek truth from facts. No personal feelings and subjective opinions are allowed. In the previous life, what Chen Yan was best at was extracting threads from files. Carefully analyze and chew those subtle details, and find clues from the details. The caller was the husband of the missing person, a thoracic surgeon in a private hospital. At 8 p.m. on February 11, Liang Wenyuan called the police. He said that his wife had not seen anyone since the evening of the 10th, and that she had not seen anyone on the morning of the 11th. Until the evening of the 11th, the phone was turned off, and the WeChat did not reply, and she had been missing for more than 24 hours. In the past 2 days, the detective team has checked all the monitoring in the community, and after comparing with the Sky Eye system, the missing person has not yet been found. Up to now, 72 hours have passed. There are not many written materials in the dossier, but there are some videos that Chen Yan is watching carefully. After taking a nap in the car, Lu Qingshan yawned, "Have you read the dossier?" Chen Yan sat in the back row and handed Lu Qingshan a bottle of water. "Master, it's over. What are your thoughts?" Gudong poured down a bottle of mineral water. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Lu Qingshan became more energetic. Chen Yan frowned slightly. "It's an ordinary disappearance case. The strange thing is that the community surveillance did not capture the missing person going out. This is the strangest place. The community where the missing person lived was a high-end garden house with complete security facilities. There were many cameras in the community, and there were basically no dead ends. However, according to the records in the dossier, all the cameras in the community at that time were searched, but there was no monitoring of the missing person leaving the community. The video in the dossier also proves that this is the case. Could it be that a big living person just disappeared out of thin air? Yes, I read it carefully. Lu Qingshan is an old detective who has solved more cases than anyone he knows. If it weren't for some reason, he would have been promoted long ago. The missing Zhang Jinjia, female, 28 years old, from Liangshan District, Sichuan Province, an orphan. The report of the assistants has been reported, and the missing person has not returned to Sichuan Province. Lu Qingshan stiffened. Zhang Jinjia has a simple social relationship, and she lived in the BMW 4 store. Should be a salesperson, because Liang Wenyuan and Liang Wenyuan were acquainted because of selling cars, and they only got married last year. Chen Yan nodded. These basic information files are all introduced. Xiao Chen, I will teach you a skill that is not a skill. The police car has entered the community where the missing person is located, and Lu Qingshan opened the door. In this kind of disappearance case, first familiarize yourself with the environment where the crime occurred, especially the layout of the surveillance cameras. Very important. Chen Yan nodded slightly. He knew that Lao Lu was teaching him. Although Chen Yan worked as a detective in his previous life and participated in the detection of many serious and important cases, but after all, he did not go through systematic study. Only in this world did he know the importance of the basics. The words and deeds of an old detective like Lao Lu are even more precious. Actually, Chen Yan didn't say anything. There seems to be a problem with the surveillance video. The community where the missing person lives is a relatively high-end community in the city. Chen Yan and Lao Lu turned around and found that except for the stairs and the entrance of the basement below the unit, there were no surveillance cameras. At the 2 pedestrian exits and 1 vehicle exit of the community, the cameras are all high-definition cameras. The picture taken by this kind of camera can even be seen clearly after being enlarged. Moreover, the archive period of the video data is 1 month, and there has been no fault or overhaul recently. It stands to reason that it is impossible for the missing to escape surveillance and disappear into the community out of thin air. As for climbing walls? Not to mention that the community wall is 3 meters high, can the missing person climb up without the aid of tools? Just climbed up, the electronic fence above is not a decoration, and it will alarm when it is touched. The last picture of the missing person captured in the video is the picture of the missing person returning home from the garage on the morning of the 10th. Building 8, Unit 301. Hello, Mr. Liang, I'm Lu Qingshan from the 2nd Detective Unit of the Liancheng Detective Squad. At the door, Lu Qingshan took out his credentials. Today, I want to tell you something about your lover. When Liang Wenyuan opened the door, his face was pale, his eyes were blank, and his beard was not shaved. Hello, Officer Lu, do you have any news about my wife? Chen Yan, who was following behind Lu Qingshan, has been paying attention to Liang Wenyuan's expression. Sunken eyes, pale face, weak voice, and greasy hair. Apparently it was due to not having a good rest in the past 2 days and was overworked. Ding! The task of the strongest police training system is released. Detecting the disappearance of Zhang Jinjia, the deadline is 1 day, the completion reward will unlock the visual gene lock, and the task reward will be cancelled if it fails or expires. 2 beeps sounded in Chen Yan's mind. Open the visual gene lock? The reward is not bad, but the Onada time limit for solving the case is a bit short. Lu Qingshan nodded slightly, and his tone was also a little heavy. Mr. Liang, although there are not too many clues yet, we have already started the comparison in the National Sky Eye system, please wait patiently. Liang Wenyuan's lips moved slightly, he should have wanted to say something, but in the end it turned into a sigh. Mr. Liang, can we go in and talk? Oh, sorry, please come in, please come in. Liang Wenyuan's home is very large, the living room alone is about 100 square meters. The decoration is also very luxurious, it is no exaggeration to say that it is magnificent. It's just a little messy, and there are a lot of stains on the floor. 2 police officers, the house hasn't been cleaned recently, it's a little messy, please don't mind. Lu Qingshan waved his hand, of course he wouldn't care. It would be strange if the daughter-in-law who had just been married for a year was lost. Mr. Liang, does your lover usually have good friends in this city? On the sofa, Lu Qingshan asked for some information, and Chen Yan was recording it. While recording, Chen Yan was also observing around, and at the same time unlocked the olfactory gene lock. In the case of the disappearance, his olfactory gene lock was opened, and he was able to distinguish various smells. Maybe we can find some clues through taste analysis. Liang Wenyuan's home is a large flat. Nida's living room is transparent and bright, and there is a transparent glass room in the northwest corner. Inside are some medical charts, 2 human skeletons, and many books on the walls. All kinds of smells came out. Chen Yan frowned slightly, analyzing them one by one. The 3 smells are the heaviest, those of Liang Wenyuan, Lu Qingshan, and Chen Yan himself. In addition, there are 4 similar smells, which are slightly weak. Chen Yan has the impression that this is the smell of the 4 colleagues of the detective team. Then, there were 2 relatively lighter body odors, one of which was also found on Liang Wenyuan, because it was the body odor of the missing Zhang Jinjia. As for the last body odor, should it be a guest? Chen Yan was a little uncertain. In addition to the 9 body odors, there is also a faint aura, which should be the smell of pet dogs, but the smell is very light. Next, there is an inaudible smell of blood. Bloody smell? Chen Yan was astonished, where did the smell come from at home? Finally, there is a faint fragrance. It is very light, and the state of turning on the olfactory gene with Chen Yan is somewhat inaudible. However, it was this inaudible aroma that made Chen Yan's heart tremble. After more than half an hour, Lu Qingshan finished his inquiry. Turning his head, Lu Qingshan looked at Chen Yan. "Xiao Chen, do you have anything else to ask?" Chen Yan closed the notebook and nodded towards Lu Qingshan. Through olfactory analysis, Chen Yan has actually found a lot of clues. However, when Lu Qingshan asked, Chen Yan would not interrupt. Now with Lu Qingshan's permission, Chen Yan looked at Liang Wenyuan. "Mr. Liang has a pet dog at home." Liang Wenyuan was slightly taken aback. "How does Officer Chen know?" Lu Qingshan was also a little surprised. He didn't find any trace of a dog in Liang Wenyuan's house. "Mr. Liang, my nose is more sensitive." Chen Yan smiled and continued, "But it seems that Mr. Liang's pet is not indoors, right?" At this moment, Liang Wenyuan looked at Chen Yan's expression even more surprised. "Officer Chen is right. My wife likes dogs, but she thinks it's dirty, so she keeps the dog on the balcony. Is it convenient for me to take a look?" "No problem." Sure enough, on the balcony of one bedroom, there was a doghouse, and a plump golden retriever was basking lazily in the sun. Chen Yan wrinkled his nose and frowned. Near the kennel, in addition to the smell of animals, the smell seems to be more and more intense. It's just that under the cover of the golden retriever's body odor, ordinary people can't smell it at all. "Are there many people coming to Mr. Liang's house recently?" "Oh, there are not many people coming." Liang Wenyuan closed the glass door of the balcony. "A total of 4 police officers came yesterday and the day before yesterday. With you two, there is no one else. That means, including us, the people who have been to your house recently are your husband and wife. There are 9 people in total. Have you ever invited housekeepers or friends to visit?" Although Liang Wenyuan asked Chen Yan's question a bit strange, he still replied, "I can guarantee this. My wife doesn't usually go to work, she cleans the house herself, and has never asked for housekeeping. And our community is very strictly managed. Takeaways can only leave their things at the door and can't enter the community. Even if a friend comes to visit, they must file a record before entering the community." After listening to Liang Wenyuan's explanation, Chen Yan nodded and wrinkled his nose again. Then, Chen Yan took out the silver bracelet he was carrying. "Since that's the case." Liang Wenyuan, leaning against the wall with his head in his hands. "Ga? Chen. Officer Chen." Liang Wenyuan looked at Chen Yan with a shocked and unbelievable expression. "What did you just say?" "Officer Lu, what does this police officer Chen mean?" "What do you mean?" Chen Yan sneered, flicked the bracelet, and cuffed Liang Wenyuan's left wrist with a click. "It means you have been arrested." Lu Qingshan. Is this boy Chen Yan crazy? Yesterday, the blind date was arrested, and today the policeman was arrested. Are you going to arrest me tomorrow? After half an hour, a large number of detectives from the 2nd Detective Detachment began to investigate the scene. In the living room, Liang Wenyuan was handcuffed with both hands, while Lu Qingshan and Chen Yan sat aside. "Chen Yan, why do you think this is not a disappearance case but a murder case? Why do you think?" Chen Yan touched his nose. "Master, because Liang Wenyuan lied." "Lying?" "Yes, lie." Liang Wenyuan said that apart from their husband and wife, only members of our team have visited his family recently. There are 8 people in total including you and me. However, there are 9 people in their house smelling. Very good, why did he lie? Just because of this you think he killed him? Lu Qingshan had an urge to kill this apprentice. Liang Wenyuan went to work during the day, and only his lover was at home. What if someone from the property came here, wouldn't he know? Besides, what kind of nose do you have? Even a few people can smell it when someone enters the house? This is just one aspect. Chen Yan pointed to the kitchen, his brows furrowed again. His family probably cooked meat recently, and there is a residual meat smell in the house. The smell of meat? Lu Qingshan is also an old detective, and when he heard what Chen Yan said, he could vaguely guess what Chen Yan meant. Lu Qingshan, whose face changed wildly, his voice trembled, You mean? Chen Yan nodded with some difficulty. When I was in the police academy, I accidentally came into contact with it once. That smell. I will never forget it in my life. Moreover, Chen Yan remembered the smell he smelled on the balcony, and his stomach rolled even more. 2 hours later, the staff responsible for surveying the site have completed their work and packed up the relevant instruments. How is it? Lu Qingshan asked anxiously. If a clue is found, it will be a shocking case. However, if nothing is found, he and Chen Yan will be miserable. Especially Chen Yan, not to mention being turned into a regular in advance, it would be good not to be fired directly. The detective in charge of the investigation glanced at Lu Qingshan. Old Lu, there may be some misunderstandings here, we didn't find anything. Didn't find anything? Lu Qingshan's face was ashen. Why did you believe in Chen Yan so fascinatedly? This time it was miserable. Officer Lu. I don't think there is any misunderstanding here. My wife has been missing for 3 days. You have no clue at all. Instead, you handcuffed me. I will definitely file a complaint. Definitely. At this moment, Liang Wenyuan was as angry as a lion, and the roar shook Lu Qingshan's ears. Fortunately, the person was not sent to the team, and there is still room for relaxation. Mr. Liang, it's our fault to offend you, please. Master. Chen Yan interrupted Lu Qingshan, and suddenly stood up. He must have a problem, trust me once. Lu Qingshan looked at Chen Yan speechlessly. He believed it, and the police uniform was about to be lost. Master. I use my police uniform to guarantee that there must be something wrong with him. Chen Yan took a step forward and calmly looked at the angry Liang Wenyuan. Liang Wenyuan, you thought you did a perfect job, but in reality it was full of loopholes. Ha ha. Liang Wenyuan laughed angrily. Officer Chen, right. Tell me, how can I be full of loopholes? If you don't tell me 1, 2, 3, today, I will try my best to make you take off this police uniform. I don't have the ability to solve the case, but I have the ability to bully our people. Chen Yan gave Lu Qingshan a reassuring look, sat opposite Liang Wenyuan, and watched him calmly. Liang Wenyuan, did you kill your wife Zhang Jinjia on February 4th? You fart. Liang Wenyuan roared loudly, my wife goes out to buy vegetables every day, and the surveillance video of the community can be seen. How could I kill my wife on the 4th? Lu Qingshan nodded. He had seen all the recent videos. The truth was exactly as Liang Wenyuan said. Zhang Jinjia doesn't usually go out much, but she drives out to buy groceries at 7 o'clock every morning and returns at 8 o'clock. Hehe, can't it be you pretending to be your wife to go out? Chen Yan pointed to the photo wall behind Liang Wenyuan. Liang Wenyuan, you and your wife are about the same height and body shape. It's winter again, you can pretend to be your wife if you put on a down jacket. Also, your driver picks you up every morning at 9 o'clock, and you are also allowed to pretend to be Zhang Jinjia. Xiao Chen, your inference is a bit far-fetched. This time, without waiting for Liang Wenyuan to speak, the colleague next to him shook his head. We have all seen Zhang Jinjia's video, although due to the surveillance angle, we can't see her face clearly. But her hair is blue highlighted and irregular, we have carefully compared it, and recently, it is definitely the same person. That's right, Officer Chen, you should learn from your colleagues and be more careful. Liang Wenyuan looked at the talking policeman with some gratitude. Chen Yan shook his head. Liang Wenyuan, you did a good job at this, but you overlooked a detail. Chen Yan took the tablet next to her and opened the surveillance video. Zhang Jinjia is left-handed. Unlike ordinary people, she always opens the driver's door with her right hand. However, from the 5th Zhang Jinjia, who was under surveillance, started to open the driver's door with her left hand. How do you explain this? Hehe, how do I know this? Liang Wenyuan pointed at the tablet computer and sneered, is the left hand and the right hand important? When I opened the door, I used both my left and right hands. However, apart from Liang Wenyuan, the expressions of the other detective team members changed slightly. Opening the door is a habitual action, subconscious. Generally speaking, when opening the driver's door, right-handed people are used to opening the door with their left hand, while left-handed people are used to opening the door with their right hand, which will not change easily. Because this is a subconscious behavior, if you don't deliberately feel it, you won't be able to find it. As for the hair color issue, Chen Yan paused, as long as you kill Zhang Jinjia, take off the scalp, and put it on your head, there will be no flaws. Haha, Liang Wenyuan stood up a little excitedly, Officer Chen, you just opened the door with your left and right hands and concluded that I murdered. Of course not. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Chen Yan spread his hands and pointed to the northwest corner of the living room. Liang Wenyuan, after you killed people, you put the bones in the living room. Are you blind when we are a police officer? Boom. Chen Yan's words were like a blast of thunder. Not only the shocked Liang Wenyuan's face changed wildly, but even Lu Qingshan and others also showed shock. You are talking nonsense. Liang Wenyuan stood up excitedly and pointed at the two skeletons. These two skeletons are made of plaster, how could they be human bones? Xiao Chen. The detective team who was just in charge of the investigation site also pointed at the skeleton, Mr. Liang. Liang Wenyuan is right, I have just seen these two skeletons, they are indeed made of plaster, and one imitates the height of a male skeleton. The height of an imitation female skeleton is about 1.5 meters, and the missing Zhang Jinjia is 1.68 meters tall, and the height of the skeleton should be about 1.63 meters. To put it bluntly, these two skeletons do not match the height of normal adult skeletons. Of course Chen Yan knew what his colleagues said, but the height of the skeleton can be faked. In fact, Chen Yan didn't examine the two skeletons carefully, but the faint smell did come from that direction. Chen Yan went to the balcony just now, and when he passed by the glass room, the smell of blood suddenly became strong. Coupled with the records of Liang Wenyuan's personal information in the dossier, Chen Yan was sure that there was something wrong with the skeleton. Mr. Liang, don't get excited. Chen Yan looked at Liang Wenyuan with a half smile, isn't it just two plaster skeletons, just break a bone and see. Mr. Liang, don't worry, if there is no problem with these two skeletons, I will compensate you for your losses. Seeing Liang Wenyuan's nervous expression, Lu Qingshan's eyes lit up. Click! The sound of the skeleton breaking was like a steel knife, stabbing into Liang Wenyuan's heart. With a click, except for Liang Wenyuan and Chen Yan, other detectives stepped forward to watch. In the stubble, Sen Bai's bone scum is clearly visible. Where is this plaster? It is clearly a human bone. Liang Wenyuan slumped on the sofa in a decadent manner, his eyes were blank and his expression was erratic. Everyone looked at the skeleton with a broken stubble, and their faces were incredible. Are they really human bones? Xiao Chen. The detective team in charge of investigating the scene is also a veteran. I didn't expect that the sewer capsized and missed such an important clue. How did you find out? Although these two skeletons are adult skeletons, their heights do not match the adult skeletons, and the plaster wrapped around them is obviously imitations. Of course, Chen Yan couldn't say that he smelled it, and he wasn't really a police dog. Actually, I guessed it. After all, ordinary doctors wouldn't put this kind of thing at home. Chen Yan scratched his head, even if it is, it's not necessary to put two. Also, when I just read the file, I found that Liang Wenyuan is not only a surgeon, but also a plaster sculpture enthusiast. It is obviously not difficult to wrap a layer of plaster on the real skeleton. Good boy. Lu Qingshan patted Chen Yan's shoulder heavily. If you hadn't followed along this time, your master and I would have capsized in the gutter. This case is yours. Brothers, take this skeleton back, hurry up the interrogation, and withdraw. Master. Chen Yan blocked Lu Qingshan and pointed to another skeleton. You have to take this one back too. Lu Qingshan's expression changed slightly. The skeleton that everyone just broke was the female skeleton, and they ignored the other skeleton. After all, the missing Zhang Jinja is a woman, and the difference between male and female skeletons cannot be seen by ordinary people, but the police can definitely tell the difference. Therefore, everyone did not break the bones of another male skeleton. Chen Yan, Lu Qingshan pointed to another skeleton. You mean? Chen Yan nodded. Master, have you forgotten what I just said? There are 9 people in Liang Wenyuan's house. This is the 9th person. Lu Qingshan. By the way, several seniors, there is a dog on the balcony of his house, and he brought it back with him, and he has to be dissected. Chen Yan finally explained. Looking at the puzzled eyes of everyone, Chen Yan had to explain. The height of the 2 skeletons is obviously wrong, and the tibia must have been sawed by Liang Wenyuan. Chen Yan pointed to the 2 skeletons. I doubt, you know. Gan. It is not a day for everyone to be a police officer. Of course, I understood what Chen Yan meant. Isn't it just feeding the bones to the dog? When Chen Yan first saw the golden retriever, he found that the dog was a little lazy, like he had some indigestion. Human bones are actually very hard. Even if a dog's stomach acid digestion ability is very strong, it is estimated that it will be difficult to digest the bones within a week. Therefore, Chen Yan suggested to bring the golden retriever back, and he should be able to find some evidence. And, the smell near the kennel. So, this dog probably ate not only bones, but a lot more. The moment Liang Wenyuan was taken away, a system prompt sounded in Chen Yan's mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully solving the disappearance case, and rewarded for unlocking the visual gene lock. Wow! Chen Yan only felt his body numb for a while and his eyes were slightly itchy, but after a few breaths, he returned to normal. Opening his eyes, Chen Yan silently opened the visual gene lock. The whole world seemed to come alive. The dust falling in the air was like threads of silk, and the words on the pages 10 meters away seemed to be right in front of you. The colleagues walking around seemed to be stagnant by time, and their movements were extremely slow. Is this what it feels like to turn on the visual gene lock? Chen Yan seems to have opened the perspective of God, and the 360-degree images of his whole body are all reflected in his field of vision. If this matches my hyperamnesia. Chen Yan had an illusion that he suddenly became God and ruled everything. Chen Yan. Chen Yan, who was immersed in the open state of the visual gene lock, was called back to reality by Lu Qingshan. What are you thinking? Oh, nothing. Chen Yan shook his head and turned off the visual gene lock. I'm wondering who the 9th person Liang Wenyuan killed, how did he enter the community, and why didn't he see it on the surveillance? Haha. Lu Qingshan smiled. What's so difficult about this? Liang Wenyuan has been arrested, are you afraid that he won't be able to come out on trial? Besides, most of these cases are murders of love, so the 9th person is most likely Zhang Jinja's lover. 70% of the similar cases that Lu Qingshan has solved or heard of are based on this routine. Chen Yan nodded. What Lao Lu said made sense. In his previous life, Chen Yan had also been exposed to similar cases, so the probability of love murder is indeed higher. Moreover, Liang Wenyuan is 53 years old this year, and Zhang Jinja is a typical old husband and young wife. In addition, Liang Wenyuan is also the chief surgeon of thoracic surgery. Although he earns a lot of money, he works a lot of overtime and goes home late. For 28-year-old Zhang Jinja, it is normal to have some other thoughts. Go back to the team to test the DNA, and then investigate Zhang Jinja's social relations. You should be able to find the deceased. Actually, apart from the identity of the ninth person, Chen Yan still has many questions. For example, how did Liang Wenyuan deal with the flesh and blood of the two dead? Did you feed the dogs? Those were two adults, and together they weighed at least 100 kilograms. According to Chen Yan's speculation, Liang Wenyuan killed two people on the 4th, and it only took a week to report to him on the 11th. Can a dog eat so much meat in 7 days? Thinking of some perverted murderers he met in his previous life, Chen Yan didn't dare to guess. Seriously terrified. The next thing is relatively simple. The team's detectives conducted a carpet-like search and survey of the room. Yu reading www.yuyugonshu.com. A small amount of human tissue was extracted from the groove of a scalpel handle in the glass chamber. The murder weapon has been found. In the sewer of the large bathtub, a blood sample was extracted. The place of bloodletting was also found. As long as it is determined that Liang Wenyuan is the murderer, and looking for these clues, the veterans of the detective team will not be afraid at all. The identity information of the ninth person was also found out. Zhang Jinjia's ex-boyfriend, an unemployed homeless man, lives in a rental house in the suburbs. Also missing for a week. It's just that the people in the rental house are not familiar with each other, so no one reported the case. The murder weapon, the body, and the motive for the crime were all sorted out, and Liang Wenyuan finally put it away. Second Detective Squad. Lu Qingshan's office. This Liang Wenyuan is also a pitiful person. Old Lu held the teacup made by Chen Yan, blew the heat lightly, and let out a sip. I got married twice, the first wife cheated and divorced, and I didn't expect the second one. They cheated again, and they got all the money. Master, 2 questions. Chen Yan continued to add boiling water to Lu Qingshan's teacup. How did Zhang Jinjia's lover enter the room without being photographed by surveillance? Also, it's the flesh and blood of 2 people. Did Liang Wenyuan explain how to deal with it? That man, Lu Qingshan shook his head. It is difficult to guard against home thieves day and night. Zhang Jinjia asked the man to hide in the trunk of the car and drove the car directly to the door of the underground garage unit, evading the surveillance in the garage. There is no surveillance at the stair entrance of the community, and then I took the stairs upstairs to escape the surveillance in the elevator car. Lu Qingshan then paused. As for the flesh and blood of the 2 Gan. Chen Yan knew that it was impossible to feed dogs all. The interrogation of Liang Wenyuan was won by Zhang Yunhu, the captain of the second detective team. To say that this Liang Wenyuan is also smart. I asked him why he didn't flush all the flesh and blood from the sewers, since it was already minced anyway. Why would he feed the meat to the dogs and go into battle himself? Is it a pervert? In the end, the guy said that he had no choice but to vomit himself these days. But too much flesh and blood will be poured into the sewers, which will definitely consume a lot of water. He was afraid that the police would find some clues through the abnormal water consumption. After eating it, it will be different. It will be digested, so there will definitely be no evidence left. The only thing Liang Wenyuan couldn't figure out was how Chen Yan found out that there was something wrong with the 2 skeletons. He can guarantee that the 2 skeletons are exactly the same as the model used in the hospital. Especially the long bones on the thighs, calves, and arms. Although he sawed off a section, every fracture was carefully polished, and there was no uneven stubble, and there could be no flaws. Of course Chen Yan couldn't tell him that my olfactory gene lock was turned on, which was equivalent to opening it. Zhang Yunhu's office. Xiao Chen, you have made a great contribution this time. Zhang Yunhu took the initiative to pour a cup of hot tea for Chen Yan, and spoke very enthusiastically and kindly. You've done a great job. Tell me, what are your requirements? The team will try their best to satisfy you. Zhang Yunhu's face is full of spring now. A disappearance case was solved and turned into a murder case of dismembering his wife and killing 2 people. Most importantly, it only took 1 day. A collective third-class performer in the team can't run. This credit represents not only honor, but also bonuses. Collective third-class merit, each person in the team will be rewarded with 10,000 yuan. In addition to realistic rewards, the detection of such a major case is also of great benefit to Zhang Yunhu's promotion. Besides, because of the extremely bad nature of the case, Chen Yan should still be able to get a personal third-class merit. In China, a third-class merit award for an individual starts at 100,000. Not only that, because Chen Yan just cracked a 30 million online recruitment case, the one-year internship period will end this week. Now that he is a personal third-class meritorious person, this kid's police rank can also be upgraded to one level. Before it was turned into a regular, there was a police rank of a second-order detective waiting. There was no precedent in the province. In China, there are 4 levels of police ranks: detective, detective chief, detective inspector, detective inspector. Each level is divided into 3 levels. After a normal trainee police officer is turned into a regular, there is no police rank. After working for 1 year, he will be promoted to the third-rank detective. 2 years later, he was promoted to a second-order detective, and 4 years later, he was promoted to a first-order detective. A personal third-class merit can be exceptionally promoted to the rank of first-order detective. In other words, the 2 cases that Chen Yan solved in the past 2 days saved him 4 years. While the same batch of trainee police officers were still scratching their heads in order to straighten up, Chen Yan was already a second-order detective. Hehe, Chen Yan respectfully took the teacup from Zhang Yunhu. "Thank you, Captain, I don't have any requirements, it's all taught by police officer Lu Qingshan." Zhang Yunhu was slightly startled. Old Lu always said that Chen Yan was a clever boy, but now it seems to be true. There are not many young people who have solved 2 major cases and can still be so humble, facing the praise of the leader and putting all the credit on the master. It seems worth cultivating. The story of Mr. Dongguo and the wolf also exists in this world. No one wants to spend all their efforts to cultivate a witty-eyed wolf. I still know how good old Lu is. Zhang Yunhu laughed twice. "Xiao Chen, don't worry, whether it's old Lu or me, we pay attention to rewards and punishments as police officers. Whoever deserves the credit is who deserves the credit. After the Piao case was recruited, I have already passed your application for regularization to the superior, and it will be approved in 2 days. In this case of dismembering a corpse and killing your wife, you are even more successful. It is estimated that a third-class person won't be able to escape. I have already reported the case closure report." Zhang Yunhu sat beside Chen Yan and patted Chen Yan's shoulder. "Xiao Chen, you are spiritual, bold, and careful, I'm optimistic about you." Seriously, Zhang Yunhu is really optimistic about Chen Yan. A blind date just glanced at someone's mobile phone, and settled a 30 million online recruiting case. This is not what is bold and careful. With the suspicion of the 2 skeletons and some taste judgments, they solved a case of killing a wife and killing a corpse that was ignored by the old detectives in the team. Isn't it daring and careful? This kind of person, as long as he doesn't rely on his talents and pride, he will definitely do a lot in the police force. "Xiao Chen, don't worry, as long as you work hard in the team, I promise I won't lose you." A detective squad leader and a newly recruited trainee policeman rubbed shoulders and patted their shoulders. This is not an ordinary treatment. It must be possible if you are very recognized for your abilities and people. Moreover, Chen Yan and the 2 generations of people, of course, understood what Zhang Yunhu really wanted to express. "Aren't you just afraid of being dug into a corner?" Of course, generally speaking, a unit of the same level would definitely not be able to poach Chen Yan, but what if it was a higher level unit? What about even the provincial team? At that time, it was not what Zhang Yunhu said. "Team Zhang, don't worry." Chen Yan stood up and saluted with a snap. "The grassroots is the stage for our young people to exercise their skills and grow their talents. I will definitely study with peace of mind in the team and work hard to improve." After the ceremony, Chen Yan smiled and looked at Zhang Yunhu. "Captain, besides, my home is in our team's jurisdiction. It's close to home. I can go to work while walking. These two sentences not only show that the higher level units will not go when they dig themselves, but also show that the units at the same level will not go when they dig themselves. Simply neat. Haha. It is good. Zhang Yunhe doesn't know what Chen Yan means. I'll give you 3 days off, go back and have a good rest, and wait for the good news at home. Chen Yan was stunned when he heard the words. 3 days off? To tell the truth, in a place where the police force beats 996 violently without night or day, vacation is definitely the most precious reward. In the eyes of those who work as police officers, Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com doesn't say anything about holidays and weekends at all. 5+2, white and black, 24 hours on standby is the norm. Huguo's medical technology is much more advanced than Chen Yan's previous life, and the average life expectancy of ordinary people is 90 years old. However, the average life expectancy of a police officer is only 44.6 years. Not even for ordinary people. Why? In addition to the sacrifices in the mission, death from overwork also accounted for a large proportion. Zhang Yunhe directly gave Chen Yan 3 days off, which shows Chen Yan's position in the hearts of the leaders. However, Chen Yan didn't dare to ask for it. You must know that he only arrested the blind date yesterday. If he dares to go home today, he will not be beaten to death by his mother. And in 3 days, according to Chen Yan's mother's character and ability, it is estimated that he will have to arrange a dozen or 20 blind dates for him. Captain, Captain! Thinking of this, Chen Yan hurriedly waved his hand. Let's forget the holiday, it's time for me to study when I first arrived. Besides, I haven't officially changed my position yet. If you give me a holiday, what do others think? Someone else. Fuck. Zhang Yunhe roared, I will give you a holiday, I see who has an opinion. If they have the ability, they will also get me a collective third-class merit back. Xiao Chen, don't be afraid, you can rest assuredly. After 3 days, when the credits and rewards are all over, I will give you a celebration banquet. Yes, 3 days off, I can't run. Lu Qingshan was a little surprised when he looked at Chen Yan, whose head was downcast. You can take it as soon as you see it. 3 days of vacation is not too short. Chen Yan. I hate short codes for holidays. I'm afraid of going home and being beaten. However, what should come always comes. Chen Yan, who had not been home for 2 days and 1 night, stood at the door of the room tremblingly. How about going home? Mom, don't blame me, that woman is a criminal, I'll feel bad if I don't arrest her. You mean to arrest her, a girl who has a blind date with you, your conscience is gone, can't you arrest her after the blind date is over? Barbie is cute. No matter what Chen Yan thought about it, he felt like he was going to die. Click. Bravely opened the door. Forget it, if you get beaten up, you'll be beaten up, anyway, it's not that you haven't been beaten before. Mom, I'm back. On the sofa, Yu Huijin sat on the sofa, quietly watching TV, with a feather duster in her hand. Chen Yan didn't understand why he had already crossed over, why there were still feather dusters at home. Could it be that this thing also followed him through? It really is his nemesis since childhood. Yu Huijin didn't react at all to Chen Yan's words, staring straight at the TV, expressionless. Old Chen sat in the corner of the sofa, with a straight back, like standing in a military posture. He also kept his eyes fixed and stared at the TV, not responding at all to Chen Yan's return home. It's over. Chen Yan's heart skipped a beat. With the status of my father in front of my mother, although I did not dare to disobey my mother, at least I could usually give myself a look, give me some ideas, and even plead with the mud to help myself. But the posture like now has definitely been cleaned up by my mother. Looking at it again, Chen Yan's heart sank to the bottom. Monica obediently squatted next to her father, motionless, watching TV quietly. Although Chen Yan didn't understand why a dog would stare at the TV, the seriousness of the matter had clearly entered the red alert category. In Chen Yanjia, the order of status is like this. Mom, Monica, and Dad are finally me. Monica is definitely the treatment of her own. She is afraid of freezing when she holds it in her hand, and afraid that it will melt when she holds it in her mouth. Usually, Monica barked arrogantly at herself in her mother's arms. Even today, he was put in a military position. It's over, it's completely barbecue. Mom. Chen Yan's eyes rolled around, thinking about it. What are you doing, et? Chen Yan, who had just taken off his police uniform, sighed and sat on the ground clutching his old waist. Son. To say it was still old Chen Jiajing, he ran over immediately when he saw something was wrong. What's wrong with you? Are you injured? Wang Wang Wang. Monica is also smart. Following old Chen to lift his military posture, he followed with shaking his head and tail. Dad. Chen Yan grinned and hissed twice, it's all right. Yesterday, I dealt with the online recruiting case involving 30 million yuan, and I didn't sleep all night. Chen Yan made a special emphasis on 30 million. Holding Lao Chen's arm, Chen Yan, who reluctantly stood up, glanced at his mother secretly. Today I solved another murder case by myself. I've been busy all day, and I'm a little tired. This time, Chen Yan deliberately emphasized alone and homicide. Of course, Chen Yan didn't mention the corpse killing and killing his wife. He was afraid that the old couple would not be able to sleep. Have a look. Your good son, he didn't sleep for 2 days and 1 night, and solved 2 major cases. Where can I find such a good people's policeman? Sure enough, hearing the murder case, Yu Huijin's expression changed obviously, and the feather duster in her hand was put aside. Chen Yan secretly breathed a sigh of relief. The crisis eased somewhat. Old Chen also secretly winked at Chen Yan, and quietly gave a thumbs up. Wang 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 Wang. Monica's cry was full of joy and pride. Although Monica usually relies on Yu Huijin's support, she often bullies Lao Chen and Xiao Chen. But he is always smart. At this time, he also knows that only if Chen Yan passes the test can he have a good life. Touch. Come over. 2 muffled sounds, 1 command. The coldness in the living room finally dissipated. Chen Yan knew that his mother was not talking to him. Sure enough, there is something clear. Monica's head was raised, and she scurried onto the sofa, crawling into Yu Huijin's arms, her little head resting comfortably in the crook of the owner's right arm. Humph! Our baby son is really good at it. Solving a murder case alone. It also cracked 30 million online recruiting cases. Chen Yan, why don't you just change your surname? Stop Chen, change your surname to Sherlock Holmes, and call it Sherlock Holmes in the future, how about it? Hearing his mother said so much in one breath, Chen Yan's eyes lit up, his waist was no longer sore, and he rushed to Yu Huijin with a single stride. Mom, look at what you said, your son has no ability. Chen Yan knelt down beside his mother, clenched his fists, and gently massaged his mother's legs. If you hadn't arranged a blind date for me yesterday and brought the girl in leather pants to me, where would your son arrest someone and solve a major case worth 30 million yuan? Wear thousands of clothes, but don't flatter yourself. Because of this case, the team said that I can become a regular next week, and there are still a lot of bonuses. Chen Yan continued with a mean smile. The murder case solved today, the captain said, can give me a personal 3rd-class merit. Yu Huijin was not really angry with Chen Yan. She was angry with the sisters in her blind date group. He agreed to give his son a high-quality girl, a good girl who is tall, shrewd, and sharp-eyed. The result was good, and a wholesale high-precision technician was obtained. Thankfully, my son has a bright eye. Otherwise, if he really married him in the future, would he still be alive? However, How could the mother-in-law make a mistake? Stinky boy, if you want to arrest someone, you can wait. You have to arrest the blind date at the blind date. This matter was spread among the sisters. The old sister who introduced the girl to Yu Huijin has died, and the account will be grey forever. But Yu Huijin wasn't feeling well either. At handsome guy fuck, you really gave birth to a good son, excellent people's police. At handsome guy's mother, your son is not bad, he is really handsome. Let's send a private message later. The girl from my second sister's family is still single. Let me introduce you to it. Don't worry, although this girl is average in length, she is innocent. That's right, Yu Huijin's online name is Handsome Guy. Yu Huijin doesn't know if the sisters in the group are really praising her son, but the blind date was arrested on the day of the blind date, which is definitely the only big news in the dating world in Liancheng today. Chen Yan scratched his head, he really didn't think so much at the time. A policeman catches a criminal, just like a cat catches a mouse. This is instinct. Mom, don't worry, it won't happen next time. And next time? Ah. No, I mean there is no next time. There is no next time. At the dinner table. Son, you read www.yuyuganshu.com and try the pork ribs. I stewed it all afternoon. Eat this Lily, I didn't sleep last night, eat more warm Lily. Chen Yan did not expect that his mother prepared such a sumptuous dinner. Mom, I'm full, don't give me vegetables. Dad, you should eat too. Chen Yan gave Lao Chen a piece of spare ribs. Snapped. Yu Huijin robbed the ribs halfway, what to eat, the elderly should eat less meat. Old Chen. Am I already old at 61? Son, didn't you just say that you have a holiday tomorrow? Yu Huijin put another piece of beef in sauce for Chen Yan, I found another girl for you this afternoon, just in time to see it tomorrow. Chen Yan. Still watching? I have watched 100 of them myself. The last one even sent people in. This is to see the 101st? No, this matter still has to be fought with reason. Mom, I've watched 100 of them, and I'll go tomorrow. Hey! Chen Yan obviously didn't figure out the form. He thought he would be able to support himself at home after breaking the case. But the facts tell Chen Yan that he thinks too much. Son, what did you just say? I didn't catch it. Yu Huijin frowned slightly, glanced at Chen Yan, and stared at the feather duster in the corner. What? Mom, I didn't say anything. I said sleep well at night and go on a blind date tomorrow. It's almost. Yu Huijin smiled with satisfaction, picked up a piece of meat and handed it to Chen Yan. This is my good son, come, eat meat. Chen Yan. Old Chen. Monica, wow, woof. Rao's nerves were as hard as iron, and Chen Yan couldn't take it anymore. 100 blind dates. This is 100 times. Chen Yan decided that it couldn't go on like this. The system has been activated, so what kind of kisses are there? A creature like Mom can't resist. Can't he do anything about the blind date girl? So, for the 101st blind date, Chen Yan decided to play some flowers. It is the right way to let the other party retreat in spite of difficulties. Red Moon Restaurant. Looking at the big red recruitment on his forehead, Chen Yan was a little confused. Xing K Chen Yan didn't dare to go there, the place was a bit evil, and he was afraid of another accident. But, what the is a red moon? How old is this, and there is a restaurant with such a name? Also a Western restaurant. Why don't you just call it Red Romance? Hello, sir, welcome. The outside is fragrant, and the inside is golden. The appearance and figure of Miss Yingbin made Chen Yan's impression of Red Moon a lot higher. Box 888. Okay, sir, please come with me. Miss Yingbin is graceful and charming, with a frown and a smile that gives a feeling of looking forward to brilliance. Fortunately, this little girl didn't join the gang of women in leather pants, otherwise, the amount involved would have been much higher. 8 points, excellent. Chen Yan, who was following behind him, nodded slightly and gave a high score. Actually, Chen Yan didn't know that Miss Yingbin was blushing now. She came to work at Red Moon on the first day, and Chen Yan was the first male customer she received. Wow! This guy is so handsome. Is he staring at my ass? So shy. Why is the slit of this cheongsam designed so low? Half an hour ago, little Mei Niu complained that the slits in Red Moon's work uniform cheongsam were too high, but now she dislikes it too low. A proper double standard. Sir, this is room 888, please. Although Xiao Mei Niu is a novice, she is more cruel than her. When she bends down and raises her hand, she is very sincere. Thanks. Chen Yan nodded and pushed open the box door. The private room is large and well decorated. At first glance, it looks quite luxurious. On one side of the western dining table, sat a beautiful woman. Regardless of her appearance, Chen Yan felt that this girl was pretty good. After 100 blind dates, the girls who can arrive early can be counted on 5 fingers. Look at the looks again. Hey! Although the woman is in a sitting position, based on Chen Yan's experience, she can tell at a glance that the woman's height is not low, at least 1.7 meters. Kaiyang's nose is high, her eyes are like stars, her melon seed face is classical and three-dimensional, her black hair falls naturally like a waterfall, her slender neck is like a white swan, and she is as lustrous as jade. Although a woman can't tell her age, she is charming and sweet, and pure. What an infinite charm! 100 points, excellent. However, the beautiful woman's expression at the moment is a little bit wrong. Looking at Chen Yan's eyes a little cold. It feels like a snow lotus with flawless ice on the Kunlun Mountains. Elegance and cold as white moonlight. However, it is this coldness that makes people have an impulse and desire to conquer. Picking off the snow lotus, turning the cold and biting ice stamen into softness around her fingers, the goddess turned into a shy, silly white sweet. That's an impulse called profanity. How did you get in? The voice is crisp and sweet, like a clear spring in the mountains, refreshing. The woman's red lips spit out lightly, with a kind of extravagant hope of taking a bite. Chen Yan regained his senses and swallowed. Although this beauty seems to have come out of the painting, the queen's royal sister is added, cold like an iceberg, but it makes people desire like fire. But unfortunately, Chen Yan has already made up his mind to pay attention to this blind date, to set off a clear stream that belongs to him alone in the dating world in Liancheng. Falling flowers are intentional, don't blame me for being ruthless. Pink Skull. Don't mess with my Zen heart. Beauty, as you can see, I came in through the door. Chen Yan stepped forward to the dining table, thought about the lines he had prepared, and cleared his throat. Beauty, I'm not talking nonsense anymore. You don't look like an ordinary person because of your temperament. As for me, I'm just a little policeman and haven't finished my internship. I bought the house at home, 89 square meters, but I can't write your name. I don't have a car yet, and I can't afford it now. But, beautiful, since you are so beautiful, I will give you a chance to get close to me, buy a house of 200 square meters in the city center, write my name, and buy me a house with more than 1 million yuan. Car, let's get in touch. After a pause, Chen Yan didn't care about the expression of the beautiful woman in front of him. I advise you not to be ignorant of praise. You are lucky to meet me in the crowd. The beautiful girl. Did you not read the yellow calendar when you went out? Still. I've seen a ghost. Shen Yunyi's star-like eyes were slightly curved, like crescent moons, as she carefully looked at the boy, child in front of her. Well, it's a big boy. At first glance, he knew that he was a big boy in his early 20s. The skin is fair, the bridge of the nose is high, the temperament is high, and the eyes are firm. When he first walked into the private room, he must have been over 1.8 meters tall, 1.83 meters tall. The bee has a long back, and an inverted triangle figure is very standard. Although the way he speaks is somewhat condescending, like a rooster that is arrogant, but his smiles are like a scorching sun, a group of sunshine. It is the kind of sunshine and warmth that can penetrate into the heart. Little girl. Shen Yunyi leaned forward slightly and looked into Chen Yan's eyes carefully. Are you here for a blind date? Beautiful, it's boring to say that. Chen Yan snorted. If you can't accept my conditions, just say it. This is already the minimum requirement for your beauty. If you still can't accept it, I think our blind date will end here. Done. Actually, Chen Yan knew that this woman was definitely not an ordinary person. Just this temperament, this dress, this way of talking. It is no exaggeration to say that she is a female president. This kind of woman's mother can get a blind date, and there really isn't anyone else. However, such high-quality women definitely don't look down on themselves, so I just say goodbye. Ha 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 ha. Shen Yunyi finally couldn't help it and laughed out loud. A full smile was born. The icy snow lotus flower instantly turned into a fiery red rose, so delicate that it dripped water. Exploding body, trembling branches, a ferocious group. Chen Yan was inattentive, and his mouth almost drooled. Your name is written on the 200 square meter house in the city center? 1 million cars. Shen Yunyi's eyes flashed a little, and he asked aloud. Basic, I know this is a bit high, you can't agree, but my son's looks are definitely worth the price. I promise. Beauty, although you look rich, you don't seem to be rich enough. We'll have. Ga? Chen Yan was stunned. You promise? Shen Yunyi nodded, I promise. You promise a hammer. Ring, ring, ring. Just when Chen Yan was about to persuade this beauty not to let the other party stray into the dog-licking road, the phone rang. Glancing at the number, Your Majesty. Beauty, Chen Yan was really apologetic this time. I'm sorry, I'll answer the call from your mother. Shen Yunyi nodded. Chen Yan. Why haven't you arrived yet? The girl has been waiting for you for half an hour. Before Chen Yan could speak, the roar of his mother came from the receiver, and Shen Yunyi, who was opposite Chen Yan, could hear it clearly. Mom, what are you talking about? I'm here. I'm chatting with the girl in box 888 of the Red Moon restaurant. Chen Yan. Yu Huijian's voice was trembling at the moment. You idiot. It's box 88, not 888. Chen Yan. Chen Yan, who hung up the phone, was flushed and his hands and feet were a little numb. This is so embarrassing. Beauty, I said I went to the wrong box. Do you believe it? The 101st blind date after crossing the road, splits. Chen Yan ran out of box 888 with a rolling and crawling. It's so embarrassing. Yu Huijian actually sent Chen Yan a photo of the woman last night. But this guy hadn't slept for 2 days and 1 night, and fell asleep after eating, so he couldn't even look at the photos. Box 88. Sorry. As soon as Chen Yan entered the box, he immediately apologized. 100 blind dates, this was the first time Chen Yan was late. I've had an accident just now, I'm so sorry for making you wait for a long time. Ling Yatong looked at the big boy who rushed in with some surprise. Ling Yatong was actually very angry after being left in the cold for more than half an hour on her first blind date. The reason why I haven't left is because I want to see if this man is really as handsome as the photo that my second aunt sent me. Then, scolded the other party and ended the first and last blind date in his life. As a result, Ling Yatong, who was originally angry, looked at Chen Yan who rushed in, and her anger disappeared instantly. Oh, it's okay, I just arrived soon. Ling Yatong felt a little stumped when she spoke. But, there is no way, this boy is so handsome. Wow, the second aunt is really the second aunt, and she knows my heart well, hee hee. A little person in Ling Yatong's heart cheered. It was the first time on a blind date that I met such a handsome guy, and a girl who loves to laugh is lucky. Chen Yan was also a little surprised that the girl's temper was so good. Miss Ling, I'm really sorry, I just went to the wrong place and wasted your time, I'm really sorry. By the way, what's the name of my sister just now, Sin? Suddenly remembering the sleazy operation in box 888, Chen Yan's face was still a little hot, and he didn't know what her name was. You're Chen Yan, right? I'm taking a rest today. I have time. What would you like to eat? Ling Yatong handed over the menu, smiling and looking good, like a porcelain doll. At this time, Chen Yan saw Ling Yatong's appearance clearly. The big eyes are like sapphires, reminding Chen Yan of a Persian cat. The eyelashes are very long, like two windows. The girl has a typical lowly face, a little baby fat, and her complexion is fair and tender. The two ponytails hang down casually, like Sailor Moon from the comics. If the goddess in box 888 just now is a seductive and criminal peach, then the beauty in front of her is the sweet jackfruit. In vain, people waited for half an hour, and Chen Yan didn't seem to be messing around like just now. Chen Yan took the menu, like 100 blind dates before. No, not the 100th. Like the previous 99 blind dates, I had a chat with the girl. Fortunately, Ling Yatong was lively, and the crisp laughter never stopped. Unlike Sailor Moon, who was laughing and giggling, Shen Yunyi in box 888 frowned slightly at the moment, resting her cheeks with both hands, obviously thinking about something. Shen Yunyi is 27 years old this year. He is the executive president of his father's company and is one of the second generation of super rich in Liancheng. Good upbringing, beautiful appearance, and outstanding ability make Shen Yunyi have a very high vision. Although those who pursued her over the years can surround the coastline of even the city, Shen Yunyi doesn't look down on any of them. Especially after Shen Yunyi took over his father's company, the suitors came not only for Shen Yunyi, but also for Shen Jianyo's family business. Therefore, Shen Yunyi has been single all these years. However, Shen Yunyi is not in a hurry, her mother is in a hurry. Every day, I hope that my precious daughter can bring her back a quick son-in-law. As long as you see Shen Yunyi, it is one thing, urging marriage. Although Lao Shen didn't say anything on the surface, he was always giving advice to Shen's mother behind his back, and he also found many young talents to hang out in Shen Yunyi's office. The marriage urged by my parents made Shen Yunyi not dare to go home and live now. However, today's Chen Yan made Shen Yunyi's eyes shine. Not to mention his appearance, this guy is a bit too handsome, and can even be described as good-looking. Moreover, judging from the behavior and language of the other party just now, it is obvious that he does not want to find a girlfriend. He must have come out on a blind date under the pressure of the family. Most importantly, he said he was a policeman. It is said that the people's police are for the people. Now that the people are in difficulty, it is also appropriate to ask the police for help. Therefore, Shen Yunyi just agreed to Chen Yan's open-mouthed condition. But, this guy just ran away after teasing himself and agreeing to buy a house and a car? Humph! Run away after teasing? There is no door. Chen Yan, right. Box 88, right. Chen Yan, my second aunt said you were a police officer. Ling Yatong's big eyes smiled like crescent moons, and her voice was sweet and sticky. Then is it dangerous for you to go out on a mission? If we are married and you work overtime every day, what should I do at home? Chen Yan. What's the point of getting married? Have we known each other for 5 minutes? Cough cough. After a dry cough, Chen Yan smashed his mouth. This is our job. Bump. The sound of the box door suddenly opening interrupted Chen Yan's words. Chen Yan. Shen Yunyi stepped on her slender thighs and looked at the two in the box with a half-smiling smile. write your name on a 200 square meter house in the city center, and buy you $1 million car. I agree to both conditions. How did you run away? Chen Yan stared at the slender goddess with wide eyes. How did you come after you? Ling Yatong blinked her sapphire eyes with inexplicable hostility. Who are you? What? You want to run after teasing my sister? The corner of Shen Yunyi's mouth twitched slightly. He came to Chen Yan and glanced at Ling Yatong. Little brother is disobedient, come here just after teasing sister. To fool the little sister. Chen Yan. Who molested you? I really went to the wrong room. This eldest sister, we're having dinner, there's nothing else to do, please go out. Ling Yatong rolled her eyes, although she didn't understand what was going on, the duck that reached her mouth couldn't fly. Especially, this pretty sister is a bit too beautiful. However, it seems that he is older than himself, so he has an advantage in this respect. Shen Yunyi ignored the little lowly and looked at Chen Yan with a sweet smile. Chen Yan, even if you are a policeman, you can't flirt with people casually, right? To borrow what you just said, I advise you not to be ignorant of praise. After speaking, he turned around and left. Chen Yan. Sailor Moon. This. Chen Yan stood up helplessly and looked at Ling Yatong. Miss Ling, I have something to deal with, look. Next time I have a chance, I'll invite you to dinner to make amends. After finishing speaking, Chen Yan didn't care about Ling Yatong, and hurriedly followed Shen Yunyi out of the box. There's no way, it's a pity. Instead, it was you, waiting for dinner in the box, but an idiot rushed in and asked you to buy a house and a car. How do you feel? To be honest, if it was Chen Yan, the slap would have gone up long ago. Besides, what if the family is waiting for a boyfriend? Even waiting for her husband? I'm lucky not to be killed. In the box, little Loli looked at the handsome guy who was kidnapped, her cheeks bulging. Humph! Want to run? It's not that easy.